Good day everyone. My name is Cyril Mihido from City of Malabon University. I'm taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics. Today, we're gonna be discussing grade 7 Geometry 3rd quarter. And without further ado, let's now start our discussion. But before anything else, let us have our short prayer first before we continue further. Let us pray all together. Dear God, may we through your blessings add purity to the world, subtract evils from our lives, multiply your good news, divide your gifts, and share them with others. Amen. Now let us check your attendance. Please say present if you are here, and those who will not answer upon calling their name will considered as absent. Okay? I'm glad everyone is present today, and I hope that all of you will learn from this interesting topic that we have for today. Let's proceed. Now, I am going to discuss to you our class rules here. So first, use polite words. Don't be mean, don't be rude. Use polite words when you are speaking, especially if we are talking to someone or sharing our opinions and ideas. Now, for our second rule, maintain eye contact. But unfortunately, we are not in our face-to-face setup. Therefore, we cannot maintain eye contact, right? Because we are not physically talking to each other here. Now, what I want you to do instead is please use your camera every time you will speak or when you're using your mic. I know that this platform consumes more data when you will use your camera, and our major concern here are for those who uses mobile data. So my little favor for everyone is to just open your cam only when you will speak. I hope we are clear with our second rule. Okay? For our third rule, again, keep phones in your pockets is only applicable in a face-to-face situation if we are inside the classroom, right? So what I want you to do is for all or for everyone who uses laptops, please do not use your phone while our discussion is ongoing, okay? And for those who only uses their phone, please do not use any apps other than Google Meet that we are using right now, okay? Please be attentive, please cooperate, please participate to our discussion for today. Is it clear? Okay. For our fourth rule, let one another speak uninterrupted. Okay? And for our last rule, raise concerns about one another's statements in a respectful manner. Okay, please respect everybody's opinion. Okay? I don't want any disrespectful words here. Please let us encourage everyone to be respectful and polite. Okay, that's gonna be our simple class rules that we need to follow while our discussion is in progress. I hope it is clear to everyone. So let's let's proceed. Alright, let us have a short game first before we engage to our lesson for you to become more motivated. Okay? So, as you can see, our game was entitled Math Tic-Tac-Toe. I'm sure a bell rang in your head the time you saw the table, am I right? Now, the thing here is that our tic-tac-toe for today that we're gonna be playing is a bit different from the original game. Now, I am now gonna explain to you some new rules applied in this math version tic-tac-toe. So, just like the original game, all rules were the same except to this. Okay, listen to this. In order for the players to put their piece or make their move on the tic-tac-toe table, one must answer first a question correctly. If answered incorrectly, you will not get the chance to make a move. Instead, your rival will take over and will answer also the same question. But if both players answered incorrectly, a new question will be asked and no move will take place on the table. Okay, understood? So that is the only difference from the original game. Now, please group yourselves into 4 groups, and that group will be your groupings for today, because we're gonna, or later on, we will conduct more activities ahead, and groupings will be needed. Additional, only one player is required to play per group, and your group members can work together to answer the question. Are we clear? You have at least 1 minute to choose your group members. Alright everyone, now we are done with our short game. It's nice that you really enjoyed our game. You all look warmed up, and I hope that it helps to exercise your brain to prepare it to this discussion. Now, at this moment, we shall now engage to our topic for today. But first things first. Okay. I have here 4 images of an object that you will see in everyday life. But I want you to observe these 4 images. Let's see what you will notice. There is a scissor, a hand pan, a wall clock, and a laptop. Now, your guide question for this should be, what are their similarities? Now, anyone who wants to answer will just raise a hand and I will call your name so that we can avoid speaking in chorus. So, anyone who wants to answer now. Alright, thank you for those who participate and shared their ideas, and most of your answers is really close to our topic for today, and that meets my expectations as well, so thank you. But at this point, I am now gonna give you your first activity, and you're gonna accomplish it together with your group mates. Anyway, this activity is still related to these 4 images here. And this is what you need to do. Based on these 4 objects, the scissor, the wall clock, the laptop, and the hand fan, each group will gonna have 1 question each. And for each group, I will assign 1 object. So, some of you will get the scissor, the clock, the laptop, and the hand fan. So, okay, next slide. Okay. So, activity number 1, what makes me works. So, for group 1 will be assigned the object scissor. And here is your question, group 1. What I'm doing when cutting something. And for group 2, a clock. And the question is what I'm doing every time I change the time. For group 3, a hand fan. And the question for you is what I need to do first for me to give you cool air. And for for group 4, a laptop. And the question is what I need to do so you can start typing on me too. Now, if you take a look at these questions, it seems like these objects are the ones who asked this question. It pertains to them. They are the one who are asking these questions to you. So, I hope you all the group will work together, and I will give you at least 15 minutes to finish this, and later on after you finish, you will going to share it to us by group. Each group will present their answers. Okay, your time will start now. Well done, everyone. Now, with all those ideas from our activity, what do you think is the relation of it from our topic? And I want you to think about that now, because I am about to properly introduce to you our topic for today, which is the classification of different kinds of angles. But before we proceed, these are the learning objectives, the things that you need to learn from this lesson. Okay. Learning objectives. At the end of the topic, the learner should be able to first define what is an angle. Second, name all the different kinds of angles and classify according to its measurements. And the third one, demonstrate understanding of the different kinds of angles, making use of a protractor. Oops! What happened to my presentation? It goes back from the start. Okay, our presentation earlier have some minor technicality. So let's proceed. I guess I end in number 3. So okay, the third objective here is to demonstrate understanding of the different kinds of angles, making use of measuring tool, for example, a protractor. So everyone, these are the things that you need to learn and to accomplish after this discussion. Okay, let us proceed now to our topic. Okay, classification of angles. Basically, the first thing that we need to do here is to define what is an angle. Okay, angles is defined as a figure formed by two rays and having the same end point, not lying on the same line. It is denoted by this symbol. So, every time you see this symbol, it represents an angle. And make sure to remember that symbol because you will gonna be using it when naming angles. But before that, let us take a look here first in our figure. So, based on the definition, angles is formed by two rays. So, if we recall to our previous topic about rays, it has an end point, and the other part of this line extends to infinity. So here we have two rays that has the same end point. That's why it formed the what we called angle. Okay? Now let's proceed to its parts and what really makes up an angle. Okay, the first part of an angle is what we call the vertex. It is defined as the common point where the two rays meet. Earlier, we learned that by its definition, an angle has the same point from the two rays that makes up an angle. And that same point is now we call the vertex. Okay? Now, the second part of an angle is what we call the arms. It defined as the rays that make up the angle. So, arms is what we call to those rays, to those two rays that make up an angle. Degrees is the third part of an angle. It is the measure of the size of an angle. So, take a look here for a second. In this figure, you can see the red point, and this is the vertex of an angle. It is the common point where these two rays meet, and this blue arrow here or blue line is the arms. Okay? These two blue line, also called the rays, but we call it as part of an angle the arms. And the degrees, so this is the degrees, this short curve near the vertex. Now that we know the parts of an angle, let us now proceed on how we will name an angle. One way is to use the angle symbol followed by three letters. Okay, the first and last letters indicate points on two arms. Here are the points on two arms, the point A and the point C. The letter in the middle is the vertex. So we know that this point is the vertex and the letter B is simply the vertex itself. Therefore, this would be called angle ABC. So always remember, if we name an angle, the vertex should always be in the middle. It will never be an angle, or it will never be correct if the vertex will be at the last or at the first letter. Okay, so this angle is called angle ABC, and also we can also name this angle as angle CBA. It is still correct because the vertex or the point B is in the middle of the name. Now, the other way to name an angle is by using again the angle symbol only with the vertex point. So here we can also name an angle by using only the vertex point, even if we don't include the point A and point C. It is still a way to name an angle. So the angle would be called angle B. Okay, and the other way, by using again the angle symbol and the letter or number between the angle. So if you look at here, we have here the number 1. So it can also be used to name an angle. So this would be called angle 1. Now we already defined what is an angle, and you already know as well the parts of an angle, and also you learned already how to name an angle. Now let us proceed to the parts, I mean the different kind of an angle. So the first kind of angle is what we called acute angle. It is defined as an angle that measures less than 90 degrees. So this angle measures only less than 90 degrees. So if you look at these examples, okay, the first one is angle that measures 53 degrees, 30 degrees, and we also have 75 degrees, 85.5 degrees, 10 degrees, and 45 degrees. So if you noticed, these are all less than 90 degrees. That is why we called it an acute angle. The next kind of angle that we have is what we call the right angle. An angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. One way to identify if an angle is right angle is by the square figure on its vertex. So take a look at this figure. Okay, remember, we only have one right angle because right angle is always measures exactly 90 degrees. But there's another way to identify if an angle is right angle. If you take a look at this at here, okay, here you can see a square figure, right? It simply means that this angle QOP measures 90 degrees. So every time you encounter an angle like that without the number of the degrees, but use it has a square figure on its vertex, it is an example of right angle. Okay, next slide. The third kind of angle that we have is what we call the obtuse angle. It is defined as an angle that measures more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. So take a look at those examples. This angle measures 121 degrees, so it is more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. It is considered as an obtuse angle. Here, 117 degrees is more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. So it is also considered as obtuse angle. Here, 166 degrees is less than 90 degrees, and more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. So those are obtuse angles. The next kind of angle is what we call a straight angle. It is an angle that measures exactly 180 degrees. So this one is very simple, because if you see, or if there is a straight line and measures exactly 180 degrees, it is a straight angle. So just like the right angle, we only have one straight angle because it is defined as exactly 180 degrees. Okay? Now let's move on to our last kind of angle. The last kind of angle that we have is reflex angle, an angle that measures more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. So take note that an angle can reach up to 360 degrees. Imagine a circle. Okay, a circle has the yun, mali. Okay, the next angle on the list is what we call the reflex angle. It is defined as an angle that measures more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. So take a look at this figure here. Oops, sorry. Okay, this figure, you can see that it measures 210 degrees. So it exceeds the limit, or it exceeds the 180 degree measure, but it is still less than 360 degrees. Therefore, by its definition, we can call it, or we can consider this angle as reflex angle. Okay? Now, we have here a bonus part. It is also considered a kind of an angle that is called complete angle. An angle whose measure is equal to 360 degree, exactly 360 degree. Take a look at the figure. Here we have, if we named it, it is an angle, or it named angle A, B, C. The first point lies on the first arm, which is the point A, and the vertex B, and the second arm that lies the point C. So take a look at the point C, or the second arm.
From 0 degree, it turns 360 degrees until it meets the first or the point A or the first arm. Therefore, upon finishing the turn, the complete turn, it measures 360 degrees. Therefore, we call it a complete angle. So, those are the different kinds of angles. I hope you learned and you will remember all that we discussed. So, let's short review first all that we discussed earlier. From the definition of an angle is defined as a figure that has two rays that form so those are different kinds of angles. Let's recall it again. We have first the acute angle, whose measures less than 90 degrees. We have the right angle, whose measures exactly 90 degrees, and obtuse angle, whose measure is more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. We also have a straight angle that measures exactly 180 degrees. We have a reflex angle that measures more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. And the last one, which is the complete angle, whose measures equal to 360 degrees. I hope you will remember all that because we will have our activity right away. I will give you 5 minutes to short review first before I present the activity number 2. Okay, your time starts now. All right, activity time. Here is your activity 2. Okay, direction. Name the angles and identify what kind of angles it is according to its measurements. Okay? I think I will give you 20 minutes to answer this activity. Your time will start now. Okay, I guess everyone is done answering with their activity. Let us now proceed to our last part of this topic. We're gonna talk about how to measure angles. One way to measure an angle is by using an instrument like a protractor. So maybe some of you already know how to use a protractor and also to measure an angle. But I'm sure there's a few, or maybe most have no idea on how to use a protractor. So I will give you a short video clip that will teach you how to measure an angle and use a protractor. So let me set up first the video.
Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Mr. Dowse. This is going to be the video for lesson 1.5 over angles. And as a warm-up, I'm going to introduce you and show you how to measure angles using a protractor. So real quickly, a protractor is used to measure angles, and if you look at the left side, it starts at 0 and it counts all the way up to 180. If you look at the right side, it starts at 0 and it counts all the way up to 180. So depending on which side you use in the protractor, you want to make sure you start at 0 either way. And then if we look at an angle, angle is always going to be like made up of 2 rays. And so it's basically 2 rays that connect at one spot called the vertex. And so when you have the protractor, you always want to take this spot in the protractor that's open, and you always want to align that on top of the vertex of the angle. And then these 2 rays here are called the sides of the angle. You always want to take the vertex, set it on the open part here on the protractor, and you always want to turn the protractor and make either side, the left side or the right side of the protractor here where this line is, match up with and align exactly with one of the sides of the angle, like I just did right here. So the vertex is on the corner, and I'm going to take my protractor, I'm going to make this line overlap this ray, or this side of the angle. And when you do that, you start up at 0. And then notice how this angle goes from 0 and it goes to the left here. It goes 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. This is an 80-degree angle. That's the measure of this angle. You can always go the other way as well. You can start with either side of the angle here. So notice, again, this is on the vertex. I could bend the protractor the other way around, and we can make this straight line on the protractor match up with this ray or this side of the angle. And you'll notice, again, you always want to start at 0, and if you go 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, again, you get 80 degrees here, not 100, because we're starting at 0, so 0 to 80, this is still an 80-degree angle. And so that's the trick here. So if I look at this next angle here, angle 4, again, I'm going to put this open part of the protractor on the vertex. And then I'm going to make this flat side of the protractor match up with this side or this side of the angle. So I'm getting a glare in the protractor. That's why I kind of hesitated there. I'm going to make those overlap, and that's going to be my 0. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, and then each of these tick marks is 1, and it looks like, yeah, that's right. I might have been off there. And so I get 121, 2, 3, 4, 125 degree angle. So this is 125 degrees. And then the last one here, do real quick. So again, we're going to put this little open part on the vertex. Sorry, it's getting caught on the paper up here. And I'm going to turn this. You always want the, you don't want to do this. You don't want to match this side of the angle with this side, because now we're measuring nothing here. We want to make sure we're measuring the distance between these two sides. So you always want to make sure that this right one is matching the bottom here, or the left one is matching the left side. So if I turn this around, we see that this is somewhere, there we go. It's at 10, 20, 21, it looks like it's about 22 degrees. So this measure is 22 degrees. And that's how you measure angles using a protractor.
Now, I hope you learned how to measure angles and to use your protractor. Because for our last activity, you're going to apply what you learned from that video you watched, how to measure angles. So I am now going to give you your activity number 3. Okay, I will give you 10 minutes to answer these 6 questions. Before we end this meeting, I would like first to do an evaluation. So I will evaluate your learnings by giving you this quiz. 10 items. Part 1 is identification. Classify the given angles as acute, obtuse, right, and straight. Okay? And for the part 2, true or false. Write true if the statement is true and write F if the statement is wrong. So, I will give you 10 minutes to finish this. Starts your time now. I mean, start answering right now.